if you struggle to paint color from imagination when it comes to designing colors, I'll give you a tip, because I was pretty horrendous with color, and actually a lot of the time I still am. But I've got a few tips that can hopefully remedy that. The first thing that you want to do is a pretty obvious one. You would have heard this before. But you want to mute your colors. You want to actually kind of gray them down. So there's a couple of ways you could do that. You could, mix whatever color you're mixing. Maybe it's a red or a green. You can mix that with an earthy tone, like a burnt sienna or a burnt umber or a raw umber. You could mix it with a gray, that will gray it down. That's one way to do it. You could also mix it with a complementary color. So if you've got a bright green and it's way too green, it's way too vibrant, you put a little bit of red with that green, and that will mute it, but just a little bit of red. So mute your colors, gray them down, they will start communicating a bit more. Another tip that I have for painting colors from imagination, think about warm tones versus cool tones. So in an outdoor environment like this, your shadows are going to be cooler and anything in light is going to be warmer. Okay, so you can see like this brown horse here, he's mostly in light, so he's very, very warm. He's got a lot of these warm tones. I put some yellow ochre in these highlights, and it really does look like the sun is bouncing off him. And these tiny shadow shapes that you can see, they're a lot cooler. There's some purples in there. I obviously need to tweak the shadows in the next layer, but there's some blues, there's some purples, there's some grays, like cool grays. Again, as always, gray it down, think in terms of gray, but think in terms of temperature, warm and cool. Anything in light is going to be warm, anything in shadow is going to be cool. That will get you to where you need to be going. And my final tip for painting natural looking colors is you need to learn from life, and the best place to learn color is the great outdoors. Try and make some time for plein air painting. My paintings absolutely sucked, and again, a lot of the time they still do, but they were really bad not too long ago. I was just not very good at color, and I was very jealous of artists who could just paint a scene from their head and paint it in a very natural way. I just did not have that skill in me. And the reason for that was because I was not painting outdoors. When you paint outdoors, you learn so much about color. You learn what mixtures work. You learn how to mix your colors a bit more instinctively because you're on a bit of a time limit. When you work outdoors, the sun is not going to stay still. It's going to move, the shadows are going to move, the temperature of the environment is going to change. So when you're working plein air, you've really got to work quickly, and you've got to mix your colors very quickly. I will tell you right now, I'm really not much of a plein air painter. It's not my forte. I'm not very good at it. But even though I'm not good at plein air, I still learn so much from it. And that's why I believe that if you want to get good at colors, then you really owe it to yourselves to paint plein air. Grab an easel, just a small one. You can get some cheap ones from the art store. Get a small canvas, nothing too big, and just paint what's in front of you. I can't really give you any plein air tips, honestly, because again, I'm not really a plein air painter. My only tip is just do it. Because you learn so much about color doing that. And I think you learn more about color by painting outdoors than you ever would in a studio. That's not to say you can't learn color in a studio, but when you're painting outdoors, it's a lot more challenging. And I think it's one of those subjects where you kind of just have to throw yourself in the deep end, unfortunately. There's no easy way to learn color. You just have to do it.